Hey howdy hey wizards and witches, Wolfman 47 here, back with another video to do with the Wizarding World. So this time we're going to explore the idea of what if Voldemort won the Second Wizarding War, but before that a bit of history and so forth as to how it all transpired. So as we all know, the First Wizarding War began when things happened, and in that war Lily and James Potter died, but the spell that they casted to protect Harry ended up turning him into a Horcrux, and therefore allowing him to gain different abilities that Voldemort had, such as speaking Parseltongue,
Pera Ivanaska.
casting certain spells, I believe, having a sort of connection to Voldemort, in that he's able to sort of figure out his every mood by the sheer fact that they have a connection, and every time they come close, Harry gets more pain from his scar as he gets closer. And I guess Voldemort's rise to power first begins in Goblet of Fire, in which in secret his physical form is resurrected through a sacrifice that his loyal servant Peter Pettigrew, who used to be part of the Order of the Phoenix and then became a traitor, performed, which led to his revival in his physical form. And that was towards the end of Goblet of Fire. He tried to kill Harry then, but couldn't, so moving on. Then in Order of the Phoenix, the Ministry is led to believe that Voldemort isn't around, and Dumbledore and Harry are telling Porky, so they get Dolores Umbridge to basically take over the Defense Against the Dark Arts role in Hogwarts, although in reality she's just there to basically overthrow Dumbledore and take over as headmistress, so that the Ministry can keep a better eye on the school. But when Cornelius Fudge finally finds out that Voldemort is well and truly alive, and actually sees him well and truly alive, he then decides to, he decides to resign, which leads to his plan to have the Ministry keep a close eye on Hogwarts abandoned, because he feels bad for what he did to Harry and Dumbledore in that year, and that then all happens. And then in Half-Blood Prince, Harry finally learns everything about Voldemort, how he's alive, how it's Horcruxes that are keeping him alive and everything, and Dumbledore is basically just going to be gets killed at the end by Professor Snape. Although it's revealed throughout the film that Draco has to do this one task to kill Dumbledore in order to prove his loyalty to Voldemort, even though Snape is the one that does it in the end.
Let me finish him in my own way.
No! The Dark Lord was clear the boys to do it. This is your moment. Do it. Go on, Draco. No!
No. Severus. Please. Avada Kedavra.
and even though Snape did do the unbreakable vow, we learn later on that he actually did make that plan with Dumbledore early on, because he was so disgusted and hurt by what Voldemort did to Lily Potter that he made a deal with Dumbledore that he'd be a double agent, and Dumbledore would be killed by Snape and planned to be killed by Snape so that he can prove his loyalty to Voldemort, but at the same time be able to still keep an eye on him, and despite proving his loyalty and all that. So yeah, and then in Deathly Hallows, we then learn that Harry was a Horcrux all along, and that even though Voldemort was able to take over the Ministry and take over Hogwarts and other areas of the Wizarding World, I'm sure, his ultimate downfall was revealed to be because Harry knew about his Horcruxes and was starting to destroy them, even though 2 were destroyed prior, which were Tom Riddle's diary in Chamber of Secrets, and one that Dumbledore himself destroyed, which was a ring that he turned into that Voldemort turned into a Horcrux. Horcrux being that the Horcruxes being these sort of things that are basically the soul of a person separated into different items. But anyway, so Voldemort is led to believe that Snape disarmed Dumbledore, because the rule of the Elder Wand is that whoever disarms the person that's the current owner of it becomes the new owner of the Elder Wand, although Voldemort is led to believe that it was Snape that disarmed Dumbledore, and therefore he is the current owner of the Elder Wand. But as it turns out, it was actually Draco that disarmed Dumbledore, which means he was the true master of the Elder Wand. But nevertheless, he tries to use it on. He kills Snape, tries to use it on Harry, and even though he unwillingly destroyed the Horcrux, and therefore any kind of connection Harry had to him was completely wiped out and destroyed, it ultimately led to his downfall, because the Elder Wand cannot harm its current owner, which was Harry Potter, because he disarmed Draco during the Battle of Hogwarts. So basically, for Voldemort to win the Second Wizarding War, a few things need to happen. First, he needs to kill Harry and Neville early on, and I say Neville because theories are led to believe that he was the other candidate to be the so-called chosen one that would one day kill Voldemort later down the line. So they both had to be killed. Their parents do whatever, but probably best that they were killed, because they could do unspeakable things to Voldemort. But anyway, so with them out of the picture, it would be only Dumbledore that would be in his way, so he'd need to kill him somehow. And then with those 3 out of the way, his rise to power would still happen, will probably have a greater effect. And if he had learned about the Elder Wand, then he would be able to use it to its full potential and actually use it properly, rather than just use it carelessly, thinking one thing but when the other thing actually happened. So he basically just needed to kill more characters, more of the main characters off in order to win the Second Wizarding War, and therefore fulfill his plan to conquer the Wizarding World. So it's pretty self-explanatory there. Of course, the whole idea of he has to also not get told to. He also doesn't. Yeah, what I'm trying to say. He also needs to ensure that no one knows about his soul being split into different Horcruxes. So you probably have to do things like wipe Slughorn's memory after finding out about the Horcruxes, so that Slughorn has no memory of them talking about it, and therefore Dumbledore doesn't have a tear he can use to sort of see that scene take place, because obviously with Slughorn's memories fuzzy, it won't have that effect. And yeah, so yeah, pretty self-explanatory. You just had to do certain things differently in order to win the second Wizarding War and therefore conquer the universe at large. In fact, you wouldn't even need to start the second Wizarding War if everything that happened in the first Wizarding War, as I mentioned, actually played out a little bit differently. So yeah, Voldemort could do it. Could have very well conquered it, but his ignorance towards everything, towards things like the Elder Wand, Horcruxes, and other aspects of the Wizarding world led to his downfall, and it is what it is. Of course, he as a villain is probably a villain that I wouldn't say I take seriously because of how Ralph Fiennes plays him as a very flamboyant, as not too flamboyant, but very sort of not very dramatic and over the top, like most villains you'd find in Disney films, for example. But he's nevertheless a major threat in the Wizarding world because of how demonic he looks in his later life, of course, and how he basically has no humanity inside him, and the whole reason, and most characters in the Wizarding world we do kind of learn something from, because that's the one thing that J.K. Rowling did get right about Harry Potter and everything, is that each character you can learn something from, whereas Twilight, its main competitor at the time when the films were coming out, it was all about, most you can learn from that is just how to get a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. But no, in Harry Potter, every character has this kind of lesson to be learned, and for Voldemort, we can learn from him that a life without love is a life not worth living, something that Harry once said to him in Order of the Phoenix when Voldemort was trying to control his mind and take over, which I guess you could say is another way to not necessarily wipe out Harry or Neville, but just a way to possess them so that they can do his bidding. But yeah, that's how Voldemort could have won the Wizarding War, whether things played out. Yeah, only certain things had to be played out differently, so yeah, and he had to be more aware, but his ignorance got the better of him, and which ultimately led to his downfall. So yeah. So that's what I think about the whole idea of whether Voldemort could win the Wizarding War, whether it's the first Wizarding War or the second Wizarding War. He just had to play things out differently. Love to hear what you think about this what if scenario in the comments. And excuse me. Apart from that, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I usually upload videos at various times daily in the BST/GMT time zone. Vlogs talking about pop culture like this one, as well as vlogs where I do hauls, talk about life, and I also do gameplay videos where it's a choice between straight up gameplay, no commentary whatsoever, but some occasional GIFs and memes will appear. And then the other one, which is Let's Plays, in which I do provide commentary, have my camera on and everything, and do just play games and just provide funny commentary and all that. And I also do a lot of shorts as well, which are nowadays usually there to celebrate a celebrity birthday or the anniversary of a certain franchise, film, TV show, whatever that I all like. So that's what I do. I sometimes do polls as well, and most of the videos I am appearing like I am now, not wearing much, but there's usually a reason for it. Not that I want to expose myself or anything to YouTube, because obviously YouTube being YouTube, it does have community guidelines and everything, so yeah. So yeah. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to share with your pals, do so. If you want to leave a comment, do so. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And as I say, you can learn from Voldemort that a life without love is a life not worth living, and you can learn a lot of different things from all sorts of different characters from the Wizarding world, not necessarily characters associated with Harry Potter. So yeah. Do check out the films, do read the books, do play the video games, and I can't really recommend the TV show yet because I'm not yet seeing it, and I don't know if it's released yet, but probably by the time you've seen this video it will have released, but we'll see. So yeah. Alright. Toodles.
Let's finish this the way we started. together.